a Mississippi Gamer Society Board Time Things production.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the third episode of Bargain Bin Buddies. In this podcast, every episode, one of us will be chosen by the almighty wheel to pick out a game that costs $5 or less at the time of choosing. Will the chosen one choose an indie gem for us, pick up a AAA on steep discount, or use their wheel-given power of choice to troll us all? Before we get into it, this is a special episode. We've got a fifth in here, so let's introduce ourselves. I'm Caleb, creator of the podcast and run Board Time Things on YouTube.
I am JB, the head of Mississippi Gamer Society and 601G Studios.
I'm Mike, owner of Teach We Read Productions.
I'm Tyler, the Board Time Podcast, or not Board Time Podcast. I'm sorry, I'll restart. I'm Tyler of the. Oh no!
Oh boy.
I'm Tyler of the Bargain Bin Buddies podcast.
And introducing...
I'm Jason. I am special guest of the Bargain Bin Buddies podcast this week. Longtime friend of Tyler and Caleb here. So excited to be here.
Now, the reason Jason is here this week is because the game that Tyler picked was 5-player co-op instead of your typical 4-player. Tyler, the wheel chose you last episode. What game did you pick and why?
So I'm assuming it is Panicore. I don't know.
Please don't say Panicore.
Panicore. I said Panicore.
Different genre.
Yeah. So whole different genre. Now there were some of those on sale on Steam.
Oh yeah, all the time.
So the main reason I picked this game is actually because I love to hear Caleb scream and get scared, and I thought it would be just funny hearing that. And then it was also I knew it was multiplayer. I didn't know it was only, or it ended up being single player and multiplayer. But the main reason I chose it was because it was horror, and I thought it was a genre we hadn't gone through, and I like to hear Caleb scream in terror. Always have. It was also, of course, it was a bargain when we got it. I think it still is.
Full price, this game is $4.99.
Yep. So definitely in the bargain bin. And that's really why I wanted to do a horror game on the podcast. And also the AI intrigued me. And I know we'll have a little bit more to say about that later. But it claims to have an AI monster.
So in Panicore, you and your friends are tasked with escaping from a monster. The coolest thing about this game, or the biggest draw from what we played, and I think what was advertised most, is that the monster hears you. That was my downfall.
Yes, it was, Caleb.
Yes, it was.
Your downfall in particular. Yes.
Yours in particular.
Because Caleb's voice sounded like this.
Oh, man. I think one of the funniest moments to me, we can talk about the gameplay in a bit, was I had been sitting in a corner, safe from the monster. I was leveling my microphone, unpaused the game. I was like, hey guys, can you hear me? I think I fixed it. And then immediately got myself murdered by the monster. And I think it ended up killing JB as well.
Yeah,
maybe Tyler at that point too. It was not the best. It was not my best showing.
it was a good show.
You clipped the in-game microphone when you did.
You really did.
Holy.
Oh man. But it was something.
So on the developer, there's not too much about them. I mean, it literally say they're a very small team. They're just 2 IT students from Germany. I cannot say their name. Serdar. So Serdar, it's German, and they're both lead developers. Oztiki. Oh, and I just noticed they both have the same last names. They might be brothers. Did they say that? No, it just says they're a very small team of 2 IT students from Germany. they basically played the game, or they started the game because they've always enjoyed co-op horror games, and when they saw the release of Unreal Engine 5, they saw the opportunity to create the game with that engine, with the next gen visuals, is what they say. So they basically just said, "Hey, Unreal Engine 5 came out. We're going to start a game," and they released an early access version of it in 2003, and they've been slowly adding to it since.
Okay, they have made it easier for people to say they now go by Z-Tech Studio.
That is easier to say.
It is. Well, when I first went to their website and I went to their, what was it? User in license agreement, was all in German, and I literally had to like Google Translate. So I think that's cool. It's just, two guys, they're working in IT, and they're like, or working on their IT degrees, and they're like, hey, let's make a horror game.
Yeah, college kids.
I remember having ambition like that.
As far as, it's quite different from the chicken game, where they kind of pass it off as a legit studio.
This was a functioning game.
Right.
Yeah, they don't try to pass it off as that.
I was thinking of that as you were talking about the release of Unreal Engine and them being able to get their hands on that. I listened to the Cluck Ops episode and
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was a rough one. You guys struggled with that one, I could tell. But just thinking like obviously this game, just hearing about Cluck Ops and this one, it seems like these guys were a little bit more serious about what they were making than Cluck Ops. Yeah. Just because I know Caleb said something about the AI and everything. It was very interesting, especially the voice aspect and you having to watch what you were literally saying in game or anything that was happening in your environment. And it made me realize that this keyboard is terrible for that game because it's one of those super clicky, Razer Black Widows that's like, oh, it clicks way too loud. And there would be sometimes I'd be sitting there and just click my space bar and I'd have the monster on me. It was crazy. So
yeah, because the way this game is played, you don't want to cheat it and do push to talk. You want your mic open the whole time. And I think for the monster, it is open at all time. I think you can do push to talk for friends, but your mic is constantly open.
Right.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, most of us only played the one session, so I don't think any of us got a win. I believe Tyler played some on his own solo.
I did.
Did you get any wins, Tyler?
I did not. We can talk about that when it comes to that point.
But yeah, this game kind of falls in the realm of something like Phasmophobia or these other horror games where just you and a group of friends go in, try to get as much evidence or money in this case as you can and escape with your life without getting killed by whatever's after you. And the level we played, I don't know what it's called, and I don't know what our monster was called. It had
it was only on medium difficulty though.
Yeah,
it had to be level 1 because whenever I played single player, I had the same level. So I'm guessing it's level 1.
Okay, from what I saw, I watched a few people stream it, and there's a board you can go to in your base to change your destination.
Oh,
so one I saw that people go to a lot that would have creeped me the heck out was the asylum. And in the asylum, instead of a monster, it's like a ghost woman walking around, and she's got like a tattered dress, but she walks around singing creepy music the whole time, and just like she's like a wraith coming at you.
You guys want to play the game again?
I do want to play this some more, actually.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if it's very streamable, but
I would poop my pants. No, I did find that this game is not the best for it's funny. But if you want to succeed, you have to actually play quiet. You can't sit there and talk and goof off it. You need to be really serious about it.
Is really hard. Yeah.
It gets very kind of boring-ish, like watching it happen. Like you're just like...
Right.
Yeah. I will say my experience with this game, the couple rounds we played, I was probably dead for 85, 90% of it.
I could agree with that. Yep.
Yeah, I was dead for a lot of it as well.
I could agree with that as well. Yep.
Jason
carried.
Yeah,
Jason
yeah.
definitely
I mean, we spent most of our time just watching Jason walk around the map to save us.
Which I will say is part of the problem with the game. I think with that multiplayer aspect, it's super cool. I love the dynamics of it, but there is so much downtime for if you get out because man, those med kits don't just come back immediately. You know, it's hard to get people up. It really is.
And we discovered too, and I will stand on the fact that the AI monster, it holds grudges and it figures out people it does not like because I'm one of those people.
It does. I don't know. I had that guy's number. He loved me, man. He was
guard
He did.
I watched the dude bust up in a door, destroy Mike, stare at you for half a second, go, "It's okay, I don't need you," and then walk off.
He just pats me on the back and says, "Continue."
And Mike's just laying on the ground going, what? Are you?
Just continue what you're doing, Jason. Everything's fine here.
Yeah, exactly.
I know when we played one of the rounds, that monster spent probably at least 15 minutes standing and lurking over my body.
That thing face camped you, Mike. It did.
It
hated me
so hard.
Man.
So, man, before we started that round, Mike, you said you do not do well with horror games. Do you have a history in that? Like,
it's not really a history. Like, it's weird because, like, I love horror movies. I mean, I grew up watching horror movies and stuff. Of course, as a kid, the only movie that ever got me was Chucky. I don't know why. As a kid, it got me.
As a kid, you probably shouldn't have seen Chucky, but whatever.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I was only like 6 or 7 watching Chucky's. Well, see, my family, when I was growing up, my family owned a video store. So I had access to everything.
Yep.
And that's all I had to do when I got out of school and sitting at the video store was watch movies. And I just watched everything. Man. And my parents were like, "Oh, it's cool. It's movies. He can watch them." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to watch rated R movies." And they're just like, "Well, I mean, that's your choice. Have a nice day."
A 6-year-old.
And I'm like, you should have been better at that.
Great.
But at the same time, it's just, that's the only movie that ever got me as a kid. But then now I love watching Chucky. I mean, I love Chucky. But it's scary games I don't do. I don't know why. Like, I think it's because I have control over the game. So it's like, I don't know. It's a weird thing. I don't know.
Yeah. It feels more personal, like you're actually living it if you're literally controlling the person on the screen.
Especially in a first-person perspective, too.
Oh, my gosh.
I used to be absolutely terrified of jump scares. Like, insanely terrified. And like I don't know if this is a thing for you guys. I got by a couple chain emails as a kid where it's just like a PowerPoint. And I never got the famous one that's the maze where you got to get small and then something jumps out at you, but it was always like a PowerPoint like, "Hey, it's this fish. Click next to see what the fish does." And just
oh yeah.
I do have to say, Caleb, I remember those getting you actually.
Yeah, there was one. My dad. I had Tyler and Jason were over, and I had to leave the room.
It was bad.
You did not just have to leave the room. You literally screamed and ran out of the room.
But this thing's maybe fight or flight, and there was no fight in me.
Like, it was literally Mr. Bill looked at me and said, "Hey, Tyler, I want you to see something." And Caleb goes, "No!" and runs. And bolts. He was playing a Nintendo 3DS on the bed and bolts out the door.
I was playing Star Fox with Ryan, and he beat me because of that. Actually, I think we got disconnected, but
yeah, it was hilarious.
But yeah, now as long as I kind of have control over it and know it's coming or that it's a possibility, it doesn't get me too bad anymore. This game was more funny than freaky to me. And I think that had to do with trying to control my voice. Keep it down.
Yeah. Like the first couple of times it did get me. Like I was sitting here like, jumped and like did my thing the first couple times. Then after that, I was just like, "Okay, monster, me and you got beef now." Like, no, we've got beef. Like, you don't like me. I don't like you.
That's right.
Yeah, I think
personal.
The monster legitimately scared me once. And then I think every other time I got, it was my fault.
I think it's more intense by yourself too, like playing single.
Oh yeah,
Because then it's not like you don't have anybody else there,
Yeah.
and those sounds really get to you.
Yeah, that's like my most experience with horror games is when the Slender Man games were a big deal.
Yep.
I would sit there and play them all day long. Like I had like a 2-hour class in high school that was it was an economics class, and we basically didn't do anything in there. The teacher just did not care, and we had access to computers in this classroom. So me and a couple buddies would just plug in a flash drive with Slenderman on it. By the way, school IT people, maybe don't let us plug flash drives in.
Yeah, for real.
Maybe don't let students plug flash drives in.
School IT, the real failures of school education.
Yeah, right. But yeah, we would just play the Slenderman games constantly. And it wasn't really scary because I'm sitting in a lit up classroom with my buddies playing it. But then I would go home and play it in my bedroom by myself with the lights off, and
That's a different vibe.
It was very different. I was very, very much a chicken then.
I loved the Slenderman games. I loved playing them because I would play them on I'd hook my computer up to the big screen back then. What was it, like 40-inch TV?
Use the TV.
Yeah. And then I would play it while everyone else watched, and it was my favorite because I loved everybody just getting terrified.
Dude.
And one of my favorites was our roommate at the time. I hope he's listening. He was on a beanbag chair on the ground, and literally, his little legs were trying to run on the beanbag. The Slender Man was basically my introduction. We tried to play Amnesia.
Oh, dude, Amnesia was rough.
Yeah, it literally caused my dorm or my apartment to be haunted in college. Legit.
Amnesia was scary even if your friends were there watching with you.
That's true.
That was just
That's
a terrifying game. So
games, it's crazy because games weren't really that spooky yet. Like there were horror games, sure, Resident Evils and all that, but those were more survival and actiony. There weren't a lot of. I mean, the atmosphere was cool and all, but you just weren't something about it going to first person perspective, and the technologies at the time. More 3D sound, AI for the monsters being more than just. Because I could be wrong on this, but I think Amnesia, the monsters learned how you played. I could be wrong on that though.
I really don't know. You might.
We never got that far into it.
Yeah,
I was going to say.
I never played enough of it to know.
Yes, we had some stuff happen in our apartment after Amnesia was booted up that makes me never want to touch that game ever again. That's a story for a different time.
It was cursed. Just cursed, man. We need to talk about the things that you're supposed to be collecting to try to escape and all that, I think.
Yeah,
too.
let's talk about the level.
Yeah. So one of my favorite parts was literally the first time we were entered into it and we had no idea what was going on, and we were all talking like normal. This was before we learned that you had to be literally completely quiet the entire time. We were just, sneaking around, and all of a sudden I got and everybody flipped. I mean, everybody screamed, everybody scattered, and the monster got 3 of us went bam, bam, bam. It was
within the first 2 minutes of the game.
It was chaos.
Yeah.
Let's just say it. The first 10 to 15 minutes of us, quote unquote, playing that game, we were just screaming like chickens with our heads cut off, running around, and had no idea what we were doing.
Yeah.
Right?
Caleb needs to put the clip of us that first, at least the 30 seconds where that happened. I was giggling. I didn't know what had happened, but I was giggling, and everybody else just flipping out.
I'll try to find some sound bites.
Hey guys, I think it said that we found something was not normal.
Oh man, it sure would be bad if some big bad monster came and touched us right now.
Experiment.
Stop saying stuff like that.
0 intelligence.
That was so fast. Shh, be quiet.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
So yeah, you're dropped down into the level, and you have 5 flashlights for each for one of you, and then you have this radio that tells you something, because I did not pay attention until like hour number 2. But it tells you that you can either escape the level by collecting enough wood and rope to make a ladder, or to collect parts to fix up the car, which I think that was upstairs.
Or you can escape by dying.
Or you can escape by dying, which is what we did every single time.
Every time. We were
Yeah,
so good at
that was
escape
my
option.
preferred method.
Yep. So we never got to the point. I didn't beat the level when I played by myself, and we got close one time.
We were so close.
We got
One
close
time.
one time.
At one point, we had everyone revived, and we had all the pieces to get the car running.
And by we, Jason means him. Him,
Yeah.
basically just
Yeah.
him alone carrying.
I literally, because I actually adjusted my mic settings to where I could use a whisper and a talk and a yell and get the different, like, they basically in the game, it has like a white speaker monitor, then it has yellow, then it has green, red, all these different colors. That it's basically how loud your voice is comes up in the game. So I was whispering to everyone. I was like, Mike. It's just whispering to literally everyone.
I'm here.
But if I was like across the hallway, I wouldn't have been able to hear Mike, and he wouldn't have been able to hear me. It is definitely like
Yes, it is proximity.
I did like that little tidbit of it, because like if you weren't over their body or close enough to their body, you weren't going to hear them at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Which
A
was
lot of
probably
it.
the best, because there was one point where I was just like, hey guys.
Let
I'm over
me
here.
tell you though. Let me tell you, I could hear Caleb the entire game because his microphone.
Honestly, yeah. If the louder you got, the more you could hear like even if they were far away, you could hear them, and it sounded like someone was across the building yelling.
Right. It even had the echo, which
yeah.
was I was super impressed with the sound in this game.
Yes,
I
Yeah,
was.
the
The sound
good.
was very good. They put a lot of work into that.
And that
They
hits
did.
you immediately before you even get into a level in your base when you're just goofing off. And I gotta
Yes.
say, I was really impressed with the base. A lot of interactable stuff. You could even play pool. I thought that was
You could.
really cool. There was a
Good.
You could
dartboard.
play pool. You could play
Yeah.
darts. You could play beer pong. You could.
You could look at the guns, but you couldn't pick them up. I was so
Yep.
sad.
That would've
different
been
radio
helpful.
stations,
Yeah,
all that
man.
stuff. It was pretty cool. It
Oh,
kinda
the
made
party
it-
button, the rave button. What was it?
Oh yeah, there was a party button.
Yeah, the party button.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was pretty
Started
cool.
Playing like electronic music and having
Oh,
different colored lights coming everywhere. That was pretty cool.
let's not forget to mention the emote button.
Oh my
That got me
God.
killed.
That
That
got
got
me
me
killed.
killed.
Trying to run from the monster, or no, hiding from the monster, and then you start emoting, dancing.
Yeah. So
That's amazing.
I spent 30 minutes dead just sitting there watch poor Jason going around, and he finally managed to get me up. And as soon as instead of pushing crouch, I pressed emote, and the monster was he revived me with the monster right there, and I just emoted on it, and that it didn't work. It was very bad.
we should say the emote makes sound because you're dancing, so your
Yep.
feet. Yep.
Instant got.
Yep, that happened to me. I was trying to hit crouch and I hit C, but it wasn't C, it was X, so I emoted. And that was joy.
Yeah.
So speaking of the monster, I do want to go over the AI portion. So, everything nowadays has AI. It's the buzzword for 2022 and beyond.
Yep.
So literally everything. I think even, they've been calling enemies in games AI for a while now. The best AI wins. But I think they used it more in the fact that that people are thinking that it's more the modern AI.
Yeah.
I could, even by myself, could not quite nail it down, like how it interacted. I didn't know if it went. I never figured out whether it was just roaming the base in the hallways, or somehow got into the walls, or could go up and down. like even by myself, I was just expecting. I was kept peeking around, even with y'all. Like you could peek around the corner, and I was peeking around corners, and sometimes it would be there, and you'd be like, "All right, not going there." Sometimes it wouldn't, but you'd still get got. And I could never kind of nail down how it operated. At least that monster, the level we played.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jason, you had a pretty good handle on it by the end. I think the biggest thing was throwing the object to distract it.
That was the best success I had, was always throwing things the opposite direction of where I was. Even if I threw it straight at the monster, it would confuse it to where I could
get away,
and it would forget about me. Even hiding in a room, by the way, guys, is not safe. That thing can break down doors. It can still hear you.
Oh yeah, I think Mike knows that.
Yeah.
Well, we both know that because we hid. Who was it? It was me and somebody else hid in the bathroom.
Yeah.
So we hid in each stall, and then
got y'all in the stall.
Yeah, he come in, bust the stall open, got me, and then him, and then here, who was it? Jason came in, and got us. Yeah, he got me up, and then got who else was in there with me?
It was Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler. It got Tyler up, and then we started moving. Well, then we run in because the monster's coming, so we go hide back in the bathroom, and it busts the bathroom door down, kills me. And then looks at Jason and is just like, okay, yeah. And then turns around and leaves. And I'm like, this monster's got beef with me, man. Like, he did. He busted down and just like, and I think too, we kind of figured out towards the end, the monster knows where the stuff is.
Yes.
Because he was guarding a door hard.
Yep.
Yes.
Wouldn't let us get anywhere near it. We tried 3 or 4 times and died every time.
Yeah.
Right. And that made it really hard because one thing we were talking about earlier, I don't know if you finished explaining it, you basically had 2 options to leave. You could have fixed a car in the bottom floor, the basement of the building we were in, or you could have gone to the top floor with a ladder that you could have built. And you're finding all kinds of different materials for this. So you have to get like 3 boards and a rope and also some tools to be able to build the ladder, or you have to get like a car key, gas, a tire iron, and all this stuff to be able to use the car. So the first time that we actually got even near it, we were just missing 1 board, and Caleb the whole time was trying to tell me, Jason, I've got the other board. It's over here on me, and I never heard him. So I couldn't find it. And then we finally got the stuff for the car, and just after we got everyone revived, it was just so many people that we couldn't stay up to the monster. He ended up getting us all. But it was very interesting trying to get all of that stuff, and you would find obviously materials for each of the things, even though you were looking for one in specific, and you'd always be like, should I swap and go and try to do this one instead? What should I do? So it was interesting how they played that into it as well with dispersing the materials.
Or you can run from the monster, and I did test that in single player. Single player is a lot better to run from the monster because you can, as long as you know the level well enough to get around it without really thinking that hard, it's pretty easy. Multiplayer, I don't recommend doing that because every time I turned a corner, I would get somebody killed.
Yeah, that was me.
Because it would be chasing me, and somebody would be there waiting around the corner just hiding. But
I think that was one of the one times I screamed.
It was possible to outrun it, but wouldn't suggest it in multiplayer if you don't want your friends to die.
Yeah, the only time I was kiting it was when everybody was already down, and I was like, I can make it to that door in time and slow it down to where I could hide behind a chair or something, and that helped. So
I wasn't alive long enough to get a good hiding spot or anything like that. I was I played corpse most of the game, but that was okay. I still had fun, and now that I think the mic was mixed better, I could probably, give it another chance and have a little more fun with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we could always move it down to easy difficulty.
Yeah, it is an extremely hard game.
It is.
The learning curve is definitely there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Does anybody know what the money actually does that you find throughout the thing? I'm guessing that's what you're looking for. You're scavenging to
I have
upgrade
no
your
idea,
base.
man.
Cosmetics? I don't know.
I know you found files as well.
Yeah. I did see something about cosmetics while we were in the
Yeah,
pre-game bunker. So
skins.
possible.
I do think customized characters would have benefited us very, very heavily because everybody was the default guy. And with no name tags over the things, we could only identify each other based on voice.
Yeah, that was hilarious. It's like, oh, I've got this on my body. Heal me. It's like, which one are you? There's like 4 of you dead.
Yeah, right.
And when
You all look
together,
the same.
Yeah. And in close proximity, you can't tell the difference.
You can't.
You
I mean,
just really focus on
their
it.
names, your folks' names would eventually pop up, but it took it a while, and that
Okay.
was like kind of buggy. In all honesty, for me, it would pop
There was a
up.
button for it.
Was there a button? See,
Yeah.
that's why it was buggy for me. I didn't know the button well.
You were
obviously.
randomly pushing the button.
Yeah, I guess so. It's like,
So I accidentally muted myself. Did we decide on the level whether or not we're going to put it back in the bin?
oh no, we haven't gotten there
Okay,
yet. We
good.
haven't talked about that yet. So, all right.
All right. So, official ratings this time. We actually just determined a ranking scale. The best ranking a game can get is to put it on the shelf. This game gets our certification for being a great bargain bin find. It's worth the price that we paid and possibly even worth full price if it's a game we got on sale. If we put it back in the bin, which is going to be our mid-tier ranking, that is going to be for a game that was okay. We had fun with it. It's not awful. And we could possibly recommend it to somebody, but it's not one we're just going to keep coming back to over and over again. And the last is the worst. We're going to throw it in the trash. This game should have never been created. I would not recommend it to an enemy, and we won't ever play it again. So far, Vampire Survivors on the shelf. Great game. I still play it every now and then. Great for 15, 20-minute run. Worst in the trash. I've uninstalled Chicken Strike Cluck Ops. Probably never going to play it again.
Hi, it's me. I'm the problem.
So, in saying all of that, I think I can definitively say that this game is a good game to play with friends. I'm going to put it back in the bin. It's not one that I'm going to come back to a lot, but if I'm able to get, a group of buddies online, my bargain bin buddies, perhaps, it'd be fun for a few sessions, but it's not going to be one that just stays around, in my opinion.
I would be inclined to agree with Caleb on this one.
Same.
Good for a few sessions. I would be inclined to play it again if we could get together for that, but otherwise, yeah, I probably won't be playing it much. So I wouldn't put it on the shelf, but I would recommend it for the price.
Yeah, that's where I'm sitting at too, is pretty much back in the bin. Like both of you said, it's good every now and again, especially if you got people to play with, but I'm not coming to this game to just go play Panicore.
Yeah.
I think it would be, if this even happens anymore, an excellent LAN party game. Like everybody in the same room trying to do it. Would be, I think it would be a great that way because of how it interacts with people.
Right. Yeah, I agree. We're in the agreeance corner, guys. I 100%
5
agree
out of
with
5.
all of you. It's a good game. I think it's fun for the price, just like we have on this mid-tier, what it says. I would I would play it every now and again, but I think this is also one of the hard things of multiplayer games for me, though. It's like, it's very situational. I have to be with my friends to play it, and we're also busy right now, too. It's like, how do you find the time? But also with this one of the things that makes me definitely put it in the mid instead of going to best is that there's a lot of downtime, especially when you get knocked down. That's like, okay, we're still having fun, but we're just kind of sitting here and now we're just kind of chatting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's my other reason for keeping it in the bin. I think it's cool, and I would play it again, but wouldn't come back to it all the time. LAN party, yes, Tyler, let's make it happen. That would make this super fun.
Which, didn't you say the game was released? When was it released to early?
2023.
2023, okay. Well, then it ain't been out that long then, really.
Yeah, they've been adding. They've been improving.
Yeah.
So what
Which
you're
is really
saying is that if Chicken Strike can follow these guys, they could have a good mid-tier game in a year and a half or so.
No. Cluck and Strike. Cluck and Strike will never be a mid-tier game ever.
Yeah. Not from what I heard you guys say about it for sure.
Well, all right. We are all in agreement. That is 5 out of 5. This goes back in the bin.
Hey, that's our third 5 out of 5.
Man,
It's actually our first. This is the first podcast with 5 people.
That means
it's our third 4 out of 4.
Right?
It's our third 100% agreement.
So now you guys, we have one in best, mid, and worst. So we've run the gambit. The podcast is over. Bye, guys.
Yeah, it's over. We've done it all.
We have completed the podcast.
Well, all right. Now that you've heard what we think of this game, Jason is our guest this week. So he is bringing us a question of the episode. Take it away, Jason.
Okay. So my question revolves around gaming, but it also revolves around the holiday season. So since we're in the holiday season right now where we're always getting together for get-togethers with family, friends, and it always seems to be centered around food, I want to know this from everybody in the Bargain Bin Buddies. What is everybody's favorite go-to gaming snack? Now, this can be one you still eat today, a snack that you like to have while you're just gaming on some type of MMO, RPG, or even a first-person shooter, multiplayer, whatever you like. Or it can be nostalgic for you, something that you loved to eat back in the day while you were grinding some Halo 3 and getting those 360 no-scope headshots. So, what's your favorite gaming snack to go to?
I think for me, it all started at the Halo 3 Game Fuel. My brother and I, we were a Nintendo family growing up. So we had a GameCube at the time, playing Medal of Honor European Assault multiplayer while chugging some Mountain Dew Game Fuels.
Nice.
And ever since, I guess, citrus something like that, has been kind of a staple for me. So my go-to, I love a Rockstar lemonade with any type of sour candy. That is my go-to. And I actually have an empty pack of sour straws that I finished before this. That makes me sad they're gone.
It's like you're pre-gaming, man. Heck yeah.
Mine is what we used to play or used to snack on, and I would still do to this day, and that is Sour Patch Kids. Give me the 5-pound bag or whatever it is from Five Below.
It'll be gone in a day. Actually, one night. That's all we need. It's gone.
Right now I'm being an adult and sipping on coffee at 9 p.m.
Oh, Lord.
I just finished a mug of warm tea.
Is that your go-to snack there, JB?
You know, lately it has been, but I don't know. I go through a lot of different snacking habits. I think my go-to that I always end up coming back around to is Oreos, though.
Oh,
with milk, of course.
Classic.
Oh, well, duh. Yeah.
I'm not an animal, you know.
My God.
But yeah, milk and Oreos is one that I'll get burnt out on it every now and then, but it doesn't take long before I go back around to it.
Go, man. What about you, Mike?
Honestly, I may be the weird one in this. I don't snack at all gaming.
Dude, with all the Xboxes that you talked about having, I thought for sure you'd be a Doritos and Mountain Dew guy.
Yeah. Now, granted, drinks, I'll have me a glass of sweet tea, iced sweet tea.
Sweet tea. I'll take that, man. I'll take that.
But snack wise, I just have never been one about eating something and then gaming, because it's always that my stuff gets greasy.
Yeah,
and
that's fair. That's why I had a hard time settling on one myself, because I'm a bit of in the same boat there. I don't do a lot of snacking when gaming.
Yeah, I got a little OCD when it comes to my peripherals and stuff. So,
Dude, I'm a mess. I'm a savage. I'll have grease everywhere. It'll be hanging out of my mouth. It'll be on my microphone, and I'll just be sitting here letting it fall on the keyboard.
No.
Not going to clean it out. It's just going to cake up. That's me, man. And
Oh,
Tyler
no.
knows. Tyler knows.
Shortly after college, we all moved away from each other. We started playing games. Dude, Jason had full meals in front of him while he's
Caleb's wife hates
You
it.
couldn't stand it. She hated
Hates the
smacking.
smacking.
She hated smacking so much. So, of course, this is what my fat self asked is what everybody's favorite snack is. But my favorite
yours?
go-to snack, I have to say it, it's the Chewy Mini Sweet Tart.
Ooh, those are great.
Oh my gosh,
Mhm.
I could eat 5 bags in a night, bro. Just
Oh, yeah.
like it was nothing at all. I could eat that all day long. Just get me some Tears of the Kingdom and get going. That's like
Heck
a
yeah.
nostalgic pick for me from back in the day, and I could still do it to this day. They're so good. Sour candy, like Caleb was saying, and what Tyler was saying. I mean, there's a reason we were all roommates. That's just our thing, man. So
I'm a big sour candy fan myself, but
yeah.
yeah. I see, for me, I'm like I said, I'm kind of like Mike. I don't really do a lot of snacking when gaming, but what I do a lot nowadays as an adult instead of gaming is world building for Dungeons and Dragons. And that I will snack all night long while I'm world building.
There
Now,
you
yeah,
go,
that's a
man.
whole different story right there.
Yeah.
That's a job and a half doing that, though. Ooh,
Yes. You need sustenance when you're doing that.
that's
Yes.
correct.
So I guess now that we know what everyone's snack of choice is, it's time. We would normally spin the almighty wheel, but it's already chosen the other 3 of our regular cast, so it's down to me. So I am given the power of choice this week. We may change this up a bit. We may spin it every time and just not play Fairsies. I think that'd make it more interesting.
I think you should
Right.
spin it with just your name on it so you can at least have the sound bit in there.
There you go.
yeah. All right, spinning the wait. I'm actually gonna do this in Discord with our bot real quick. No, I'm not. That's gonna take too long. Anyway.
Fix it in post. Fix it
I
in
will
post.
fix it in post.
Fix it in
I'll play a
post.
sound effect. We're spinning the wheel now. I am going to pick a game that I enjoy and I just need an excuse to go and play and beat. It's currently on sale for $4.99, regularly priced, I believe. Let me not lie to you real quick. Regularly priced $24.99. Blasphemous.
Ooh. I'm familiar with Blasphemous, and I have not had
Has
the
anybody
chance
else
to play
played
it yet.
Can you spell that for the spelling challenge over here?
Blasphemous.
Blasphemy.
BLASPHEMOUS.
Oh, this looks cool.
It's like a Metroidvania, right?
Yeah, have you guys ever played any of the classic Castlevanias?
Mm-hmm.
It's like that, but
Yeah.
darker and stuff.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've looked into it. I may actually own it already, but I know I've never played it.
Well, all right. If you'd like to join along for episode 4, where we talk about Blasphemous, the game is currently $4.99 on Steam and should still be on sale by the time this podcast drops. So, regularly priced $24.99, currently bargain bin priced $4.99. Do you guys have anything else you'd like to say or promote before this podcast is over?
I just want to say thank you guys so much for having me on for the podcast. It was a ton of fun, and hope to do it again in the future. Love it.
Thanks for being here, Jason.
Yeah, man.
All right. If nothing else, that is it. We will see you guys next time.
So.
Later.
Peace.